Welcome back, chums, to a new Cyberpunk 2077 video. So in this one, I will be going through the basics of Cyberpunk 2077 modding, because every single time I upload a modding list video, there is always a question of how do I properly install all of these mods, and every single time I try to put all of the prerequisite framework mods into the video, but to be honest, it is a lot easier that I show you how to do everything in this separate video. So by the end of this, you will know how to install mods and have all of the other mods which you need already in your directory, so you can install pretty much anything else on top of it. Now before we begin, do keep in mind that you should install the mods exactly as I show them, and also follow the mod order I'm using in this video. In the description of the video, the mod order is going to be from top to bottom, and that's exactly how you should install it. The reason why these framework mods work in this way is that when Cyberpunk came out, modders created their own frameworks and tools, so it's easier for them to create their own mods within it. And also it allows other modders to use their framework to install their own mods. That's why a lot of the other mods you're going to be using might be actually taking one or a few of these framework mods. And also on the player side, it is easier because, well, the mods are more compatible and easier to install. And I'm going to show you how to install these mods manually, because installing manually is the best way to mod any game. The reason for that is compatibility. It is a lot easier to work with it than working on a mod manager. But at the end of this video, I will show you how to install some of these mods with the Nexus mod manager as well. Because keep in mind, not every mod is available on Nexus, especially when it comes to these tooling mods. Most of them, or some of them, are only available for manual download. Now also, in case you don't already have it, you should actually install 7-zip or Winrar, because these files which you download are going to be well zipped and you will have to unzip them. Now maybe you already have these files on your PC, but in case you don't have them, I'm going to leave you links to it down below. You can actually get Winrar or just get 7-zip, it doesn't matter, it's going to be the same thing. So the first mod we're going to be downloading for the game is CyberEngine Tweaks. The reason which I'm doing it is because CyberEngine Tweaks is the most important mod for the Cyberpunk 2077 modding. And the reason for it is because CyberEngine Tweaks, as said by the mod author Yamashi, is a framework giving modders a way to script mods using Lua, with access to all of the internal scripting features. It also comes with a UI to configure the different mods you are using or using the console directly. This also is going to allow you to have console in Cyberpunk, which you can use to spawn different items and just play around with different features of the game. So to download it, first off, make sure you do have an account on Nexus Mods, so just create one, because it's going to be just easier for you to track all of the mods you download. So we're going to click here on manual, and on top of that, we're going to click here slow download or fast download if you have premium. So we're going to wait this to download, and once this happens, in our downloads we're going to have this, so we're going to unzip it. We're going to go here, and you see this bin file right here. One of the things you can do is extract directly into the directory, or what else we can do is extract to desktop first. So we're going to take this bin file and put it onto desktop. And once it's going to be here on your desktop, we are going to go into Cyberpunk main directory. So there are two things you need to watch out for here. First off, you see this bin file right here. It corresponds exactly with this file right here in the main directory. Now the reason we are simply dragging and dropping this like there is because it's easier. Instead, what we can do is go to the bin file and then follow the path itself, and then basically copy all of these files one by one, which is a little bit annoying. But instead, we are just going to drag and drop this here. Go copy. Keep in mind, for you it's not going to have replace because I already have these files, so it's just going to copy them. So once these files are in, that's it, you have CyberEngine Tweaks installed. And once you go into the game, as soon as you log in, it's going to prompt you to select an overlay key. The one which I always use is the tilde key below the escape button, so just click on this and select the tilde button, and it's always going to open using that button within the game. Next mod after that is going to be Red4ext. And Red4ext is a library that extends Red Engine 4. It allows modders to add new features, modify the game behavior, add new scripting functions, or call existing ones in your own plugins. Obviously, a lot of this is mumbo jumbo for modders, but for you, it's only important to install this. So as always, we're going to go manual, slow download, and that's it. So right here we have Red4ext, and it was the same as with CyberEngine tweaks, it's going to be zipped. So what we're going to do is double click on this, and it's going to open up two things, bin and Red4ext. Keep in mind that you won't have Red4ext when you start modding the game first, because again, I have these mods installed. So what am I going to do? Well, the same as you're going to do. You're going to take these two files, and you're just going to drag and drop them here. You can of course extract first and then copy, but you can just go directly from the Winrar or 7-zip and it's going to have the same function. So we're just going to drag and drop this. Again, it's not going to ask you to replace the files for you, only for me. And that's it, we have another mod installed. Next up, we're going to download CODEWARE, which is the script extension. CODEWARE is a library, as explained by the mod author, and framework for creating Redscript and CyberEngine tweak mods. That's it. So the process of installing this is going to be the same as with everything else. So manual and then download. But you can see here, it says additional files required. It says we have to download Red4ext, but we already downloaded that, so we can freely go and install CODEWARE. As always, slow download or fast one depending if you have premium, and you wait. In your downloads, you're going to have CODEWARE like anything else. So the process is again going to be the same as for everything else. As you can see here in the zipped files, we have R6 and Red4ext. Now, if we didn't have Red4ext installed prior to this, this mod wouldn't work because it needs this. So what we're going to do, as we did with everything else, we're going to select these two and just drag and drop here so it actually copies into the directory. And of course, again, I will replace, you won't. And that's it, we have another mod installed. Next up, we're going to download AMM or Appearance Menu Mod. Appearance Menu Mod is one of those mods that is simply irreplaceable if you're planning to mod in this game. It actually allows you for various different things like photo mode helper, spawn companions, change appearances, decorate your house, direct your actors and everything else. It's a very powerful tool that a lot of people use, and this tool has a lot of different add-ons on top of it, which is not really a theme for this video, but later on we're definitely going to cover it. As you're seeing in the gameplay, I can spawn some of the companions to either follow me in the game and fight for me, regardless who it is. You can even spawn Smasher to fight for you, or you can spawn them as enemies or just as static objects which you're gonna be using for maybe recording some footage or something else. Again, that's more of a advanced stuff for people who are creating cinematics and custom stuff. To download this mod, of course, as it says here, we need CODEWARE and CyberEngine tweaks, but we know we already have these mods installed, so we're free to install this. So once we have this downloaded, the process is going to be the same as with everything else. Archive bin, we have archive and bin in the main directory, and we just copy it, and that's it. Next up, we're going to download ArchiveXL. Now, ArchiveXL is a modding tool that allows you to load custom resources without touching original game files, thus allowing multiple mods to expand the same resources without conflicts. This basically means load custom entity factories, add localization text that can be used in scripts, resources, and tweak DB, edit existing localization text without overriding original resources, and much more. Obviously, a lot of this is for modders, not for you. You just need to have this framework installed. So manual, and then of course download, we have Red4ext already installed. We open up archive, we select R6 and Red4ext, and we drag and drop. Next up, we're going to download TweakXL, another extension loader. And TweakXL, again, as it says here, is a modding tool and framework to create mods that modify TweakDB, a proprietary database of Red Engine 4, containing essential information about game entities and behavior. Of course, a lot of the other mods which you're going to use in the future or which you're going to download will require this, so it's very important to download this. And as always, it's gonna need Red4ext, which we already have. So right here we have Tweak Excel. The process is going to be the same, drag and drop. And for a lot of these things, well, drag and drop is going to be the thing. Another mod we're going to download is CYBERCMD. Now do keep in mind that CYBERCMD lately has become obsolete if you are using Red4ext. But I always kinda install this the same way because usually the mods, some of the mods which I covered in the past were kinda having issues without having CYBERCMD installed, even though Red4ext was installed. So CYBERCMD in general is a command line argument loader for Cyberpunk. Now of course, it says here, if you use CyberEngine tweaks, download and extract the CyberCMD zip file in the location which I showed you before. But if you do not use CyberEngine tweaks, you have to download and extract the CyberCMD standalone zip file into the main game directory. But because we already have all of those files, we're just going to download this one. So we're going to go for this one, and if you don't have CyberEngine tweaks, you go for this one, but obviously this is for advanced users and the ones which are very picky at which mods they're gonna be getting. So manual here, download, and slow. But again, keep in mind that lately, if you do have Red4ext, CyberCMD is not necessary in a sense. So we have the zipped files here, as always, drag and drop. Next mod we're going to install is Input Loader. So Input Loader looks for all of the R6 input XML files in your directory and merges them with the appropriate input config file from R6 config and saves them to the R6 cache. Now do keep in mind, again, this is mostly for modders, but you as a player will need this mod to run other mods. So download and same process. Once we have the input loader, only thing we have to do, open it up, take the Red4ext and push it here. That's it. Next up we have a very important mod, Redscript, because a lot of other mods, especially the ones which are running on various scripts and everything, are actually gonna be running on this, because this is a compiler for 2077 Cyberpunk scripts. Now, to download this, the process is going to be the same as for everything else, so manual download and then slow download again. It doesn't require anything else on top of it. We're gonna open up Redscript here, we're going to select R6 and Engine, and we're going to drag and drop this. Boom. Next up, we're going to download Mod Settings. Mod Settings adds a Redscript configurable mod settings page to the main menu that any mod can add a page to. So basically, if there is a mod out there which has certain values you can change, like for example damage multiplier and so on, there is a chance it's gonna be using Mod Settings. Once you go here into Mod Settings, you will be able to configure how your mods are going to work. To download, just click Manual. Now, of course, it requires us to have Archive Excel, Red4ext and Redscript, which we already have. So let's download. So once we have mod settings here, we're going to just drag and drop this to the main directory, and I'm going to replace because I already have these files installed, you won't. Now next up, we're going to download Native Settings UI. Now do keep in mind that Native Settings UI does pretty much a similar job like Mod Settings. It basically adds a page where you can customize some of the mods which you download, but the difference is Native Settings UI works through CyberEngine tweaks and the Mod Settings works through Redscript. So you will have some mods which are gonna be placed in Native Settings UI and some mods are gonna be placed in Mod Settings. That's why we're going to download both and basically have Native Settings UI along with Mod Settings mod. So download here and that's it. So we're going to open up Native Settings UI and as always, drag and drop. Next up, we're going to download Equipment EX. Equipment EX is the outfit manager and also adds extra slots in your wardrobe and inventory and how you're actually gonna be, putting on different outfits through transmog. This mod is amazing because also it allows for various other things to work within it, like for example other mods that people create, which is custom clothing. So this is very important if you want to install custom clothing, new clothing pieces, replacers and so on. Now, in the game itself, I'm showing you how this looks. So once you go into the wardrobe, you can see all of these extra features you're going to get with it. So very powerful tool and very important to actually have. So the process is going to be the same as with everything else. We're going to go manual. Now, as you can see here, it requires a lot of prerequisite mods. Now, because we installed all of those mods previously, we don't have to worry about this at all. But it's always important to read, because maybe there's going to be some mod in the future which is going to be using their own framework, so it might require something else which we didn't cover in this video, but 99% of mods are going to be working with this, so just click download. Slow, and wait for it to download. So equipment, EX, double tap it, R6 and archive, just drag and drop. That's it. Next mod we're going to download is Material and Texture Override. This one enables the game to load in new materials, new clothing and everything else. So in case you're gonna be, of course, using new clothing, downloading all of that, well, it's important to have this one. So manual. Now, keep in mind there is two things here. First off is the Legacy Edition, which is going to work through the, normal structure. And the second of all is through REDMod. REDMod is, well, it's a new feature released by CD Projekt Red. I mean, not a new feature, but definitely the newest one, which allows modders to go through their own tools to create some of these mods. Now, honestly, I prefer doing the Legacy Edition, so this is the one which I'm going to get. But only do keep in mind that you must use either one of these. You cannot install two of these at the same time. It's not going to work. So one of these two. I prefer the legacy one. Slow download, that's it. Open it up. We have the archive here, drag and drop. Next up, we have one of the newest mods when it comes to framework in Cyberpunk 2077, and that's the browser extension. Browser extension framework creates an easy entry point to add your custom websites to the main browser page. It also gathers and shows all of the vanilla sites defined as journal entries in the game's resources, so again, it's easier to mod with this. So we're just going to download this manually as always. Download here, and slow download. We're going to open this up, R6, and we're just going to drag and drop. I mean, all of these are going to be pretty much drag and drop in general. Now at this point, you already have a bunch of mods which are going to work on top of most mods you're gonna be downloading. So from now, we're gonna be going into mods which are very important and very popular, that a lot of people use it, which are not technically only frameworks, but we're going to check them out as well. Now the first mod on that list is going to be Virtual Car Dealer. What it does, it creates a framework which allows modders to add any vehicle to a simple virtual shop using Tweak XL. So it's combining more frameworks to work on top of this. So on your PC, in your computer, in the apartment, you're gonna have a store which you can buy vehicles from. So we're going to download this manually here, and as you can see, it requires a bunch of mods which we already have installed, so we don't have to worry about it. So we're going to go download, and we're going to go slow download. So we have the virtual car dealer here. We're going to double click this, and we're going to take these two files and drag and drop them here. I'm going to replace you won't. Now keep in mind that Virtual Car Dealer is just a framework, so it's not going to have any vehicles unless you put them. So DJ Kovrik and E256 have created a bunch of different vehicle packs which are from the game, which you can use to buy from this Virtual Car Dealer. So on top of this, we're going to install this vehicle pack. Keep in mind that DJ Kovrik actually has a bunch of other vehicle packs which you can check out, but the process of installing this is going to be the same. So we're gonna go manual, and here we have two packs. We're gonna download the car pack 1. It requires Virtual Car Dealer, which we already have. This one is going to be a bit bigger, so you'll have to wait until it downloads. So once this is downloaded, we're going to open it up. As you can see, archive and R6, and before that we installed Virtual Car Dealer. So only thing we're gonna do is go here and transfer it, and that's it. When it comes to vehicles, the process is going to be the same. We're going to go to the car dealer, which we installed. In here we can see a bunch of different vehicles we have with the actual mod. So if we click next, we're gonna be able to buy a bunch of different vehicles which are not available in the game because we have that car pack. So we can just go next here, check all of these cars out, and pretty much buy them. And that's it. Next up, we're going to download Car Modification Shop. Car Modification Shop is an amazing mod because it actually adds a location where you can customize the vehicle in terms of speed, brakes, transmission, and so on. Now, do keep in mind that this is experimental in a sense. You're gonna be dealing with different values for your car and for vehicles you're using in general. So the result you might get once you boost the car with different parts doesn't mean it's going to be the most amazing ones, especially with the changes that have been made after 2.0 and 2.1. So always keep in mind that this not also works as a modification shop, but also works as a framework for some car mods, which we're gonna install later. So that's why I'm actually downloading this. So we're gonna go manual, and we're gonna go download as always. So once we have that, we're simply going to drag and drop, open it up, and drag and drop archive and bin into the main directory, and that's it. Next up, we're going to download Vehicle Manufacturer's Resource because ControlSec, as I like to call him, has a lot of different vehicle files. Like, for example, if you're going to be downloading vehicles, he's going to be one of the people you're going to be downloading vehicles from in case you like them. And for that, he actually decided to create his own resource for it. I also saw that some other vehicle-like mods have been using this, same framework, so that's why I'm actually downloading this now in case I need it for later, so you should too. We're going to go manual, and we're just going to go slow download as always. Once we have this file here, we're going to double click it and copy the archive into the main folder directory for Cyberpunk. As you have seen, it's very easy, like this is nothing problematic. As soon as you follow like what I'm doing here, most of that is going to be just drag and drop. So next one, we're actually going to download and install a custom vehicle in the game. We're going with the Quadra Turbo KS edition from ControlSec as well because, well, the previous tools that we used are from him, so it's going to be easier for you. Now, this vehicle comes in various different colors. You can see here you can actually purchase all of these little color variants or just put them in the console and it's going to, well, show it for you. But of course, what we're gonna do is install this first. I'm going to show you how to get it later. So manual, and of course, we have all of these files which we need. Do keep in mind that cooked apps node is not required anymore after update 2.0. It has been removed completely, so you don't have to have this. Only if you're using somehow the version prior to 2.0 and 2.1, then you will need this. But for that, no. So now that we have this vehicle, we're going to double click this. And as always, we're going to drag and drop this. And that's it. So now we're going to find Quadra right here. So we go to the car dealer, and keep in mind there's going to be a bunch of different cars which we already have installed, but it's also going to contain the cars which you have. Now, we're going to find the Quadra which we need. And here we go, Quadra Turbo Legendary Customs. Here we can change the color as well, depending on which one we want. So I'm going to go for the yellow one right here. So we're going to buy it. Next up, we're going to download Deceptious Quest Core. Now, the core framework mod that Deceptious made allows for multiple quest type mods to use a single hook. He created this for his own mods because he does have some custom quests and some little missions you can do, so it's always good to go to Deceptious' page and check out his mods. But in order to run his mods in general, we're gonna have to download this one. Now, also keep in mind that other modders are also using this framework for their own mods. So in the future, in case you run into this, well, you're going to be ready and you're going to have all of the necessary files. So we're going to download this one as well. And of course, it's going to be very easy. Drag and drop this into the archive folder itself like this. Next mod, which is very important if you're gonna be including custom clothing in this game or want to have a lot of custom clothing, that's Virtual Atelier. Virtual Atelier is a framework for modders that allows them to add virtual stores in-game for their modded clothes items. So this means that sometimes you will have modders which are gonna be creating their own custom clothing. And that custom clothing is added obviously through the console, so every single time if it's a new item, in the description of the mod you're going to have a console which you can put into it. But also, some of the modders which create a lot of clothes are also going to have their own store, and once you have that store you still need to fill in that store with items for it to work, because it kind of makes things easier to buy and more lore friendly than rather just spawning it from the actual console. So let's download the Virtual Atelier first. Now here we have two versions, the basic one and the more advanced one, which is the, the one which we're gonna download. Also it says here that it has different folder names, so make sure you delete the old R6 scripts Virtual Atelier folder. So if you were modding before, well, keep a lookout for this, but for a new user, if you never actually did this, then you don't have to worry about this. So we're gonna go manual download, and you can see here we have all of the tools which this mod actually wants, so we're just going to go download. So here we have the folder, we're going to open it up, and we're going to drag and drop this here, and we are done with it. Now, because I didn't just want to install the Virtual Atelier without showing you how these different stores work, we're going to add one. We're going to add the NC Fashion Virtual Atelier from Ezio Maverick. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the manual download, and as it says here, it requires Virtual Atelier, which we already have. So we're going to download this. This one, NC Fashion, we're going to double click and we're going to add it. So right now, when we open the Virtual Atelier on the computer in our apartment or anywhere else, we're going to see the store. Now, because we have Virtual Atelier and the actual shop, we have to fill the shop with items. Now, the shop which you're filling in for is going to be related to the mod author he's working for. So the XRX helmet from Ezio is going to work in his NC Fashion store. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, it says here masculine V only. So on Nexus, you're going to have a bunch of outfits mods which are only related to Fem V or Male V, or so you have to pay attention which ones you're downloading. Now, the second thing which you can do without, having the shop and anything else is just to get this code and place it into the console which you have with, CyberEngine tweaks. So as soon as you do this, the actual game is going to add this item in your inventory and you can use it for transmog. But if you want a more lore friendly, way to buy it, we're going to be going through the shop. So let's download this one. So once we have that up, we're going to open it up and we're going to drag and drop archive and R6 into it. So now that we've installed Virtual Atelier and the shop and the item, we're going to go to our computer, we're going to use it, and we're going to go to the Atelier. So as you can see in the Atelier tab, we have the NC Fashion actual store that we installed. So what we're going to do is we're going to click it. And here we have the XRX helmet, which we installed through the mod, and we can buy it and equip it like this. And that's pretty much it. We can also press P to add to cart, and we can go and buy this for €50. Simple as that. And that's it. If you were following everything like I showed you in this video, you should have all of the files necessary to download and play around with any other mod. Do keep in mind that whenever you're modding within this game, whatever, and accidentally you download a folder which has, for example, .archive file with nothing else, usually those files are going to be placed here. So we're going to go to archive, PC, mods. And here, for example, we can see a bunch of mods we have placed here before. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells us pretty much that if you have an archive file, you just place it here and that's it. But most of the time, mod authors are going to give you proper file structure, so it's just drag and drop and you don't have to worry about it. But also read what people say in the description, because sometimes mods might be a little bit more complicated to download and install, but the mod authors always provide an actual tutorial. So if we go to Nexus mods, for example, and we have Toyota Supra, right here, and if we click manual, we're all going to have everything we need for this. So to work correctly, you also need mods like Tweak XL, Archive XL, Material and Texture Override, Redscript, Red4ext, CyberEngine tweaks. We already have all of this, so your files are going to be ready for anything which you throw it, at it. Here we have the alternate phone icon, for example, mod which just came out. We're going to click manual and we're going to download this. Now also it might require some files here, it might not, but again, you are ready for everything which is thrown your way. Also, please make sure to follow all of the mod authors, and usually they have coffee links and various other donation links, so if you have some extra money and you want to, well, give people some reward for making all of these amazing mods, because the modding community has been very active for Cyberpunk 2077. I always recommend you do it. So now you ask yourself, how do I remove the mods which I don't want, or if there is a problem, how do I get rid of it? Well, there's a few ways to actually uninstall a mod. One of the easiest things you can do is, for example, let's look at the mod which we downloaded right now, Let There Be Flight. So in the directory of the mod which we copied, if we open this thing up, we can see that Red4ext is leading us into plugins and then into Let There Be Flight. So if we go to Red4ext in our Cyberpunk directory, and if we go to plugins, we're going to see here Let There Be Flight along with Input Loader, CODEWARE, ArchiveXL, everything which we actually installed before. Now Input Loader has its own uninstall program, but a lot of the other mods really don't have that. So if you want to remove Let There Be Flight mod, we're going to click on it and we're going to delete it just like that. Now do keep in mind that for every other mod which you install, only thing you have to do is open up the file which you copied from the Winrar, follow it where it leads you, then go into your main Cyberpunk, delete it, and that's it. Next up, you can use the mod remover tool, which also provides backup. Now here, we can actually do everything, like for example, just get this and uninstall all of the mods that we have. So if you download this, it's going to start as a program. I'm going to show you right now, but do keep in mind that this one does delete a lot of mods, but it's not going to solve your problems in case there is a new patch coming out. For that, we'll talk about it. So once we have this out, we're going to add it into our main Cyberpunk folder. So we're just going to drag and drop it here. From here, you just double click this and that's it. The reason why I don't want to do it is because I have a lot of mods which I don't want to disable right now, but that's basically it. And it's going to create a log folder, and yeah. Now another thing which you can do, which is I think one of the easier ways if you have a lot of space on your PC. So once you download Cyberpunk 2077, either from Steam or from GOG, what you can do is copy this entire folder, Cyberpunk, which is vanilla without any mods whatsoever, somewhere separately. So create a new folder on a new drive or wherever, just a new folder, and copy it. Rename it from Cyberpunk, maybe backup or something else. In case something does break, in case there is a new patch coming along your way, only thing which you have to do is go into your Cyberpunk directory and delete this entire folder and replace it with your clean one. Then I mean, once you go into Steam or GOG, you either have to just guide the path to the location where you are, or it's automatically going to recognize the game without any mods. But when the patch comes, as it was every month or so, it's going to completely demolish your mods. So the best thing you can do is uninstall the game, delete all of the folders, and reinstall the clean game again, because you will have a lot of hidden files from these mods which are not going to be usually removed like manual like this. So it's going to give you various script errors, and people then complain, then my game doesn't want to start, and so on. Now Cyberpunk 2077 also requires REDMod for some mods, so we're going to get this as well. You can get it off of GOG if you have the game on GOG, or you can get it on Steam by getting it directly off of the Steam itself. I'm going to leave you all of the links down below to it. If you are on Steam, you just have to download it and that's it. Same as you were on GOG. Just add the cart, download it, and that's it. It's going to get you into the game automatically, or well, it's going to install everything automatically. You don't have to worry about that. So once we go into Cyberpunk 2077 and we go, for example, to manage installation, we go to configure. If we go to features right here, we can see that we can enable mods. By clicking this, the mods are going to be enabled once you get into the game. Same when it comes to DLC, sometimes you will have some DLC here, like REDMod. You just have to make sure it's actually like showing right here, and that's it. You have to just go OK, and you are in the game. Simple as that. Now, in case you don't want to install mods manually, which again I do recommend because a lot of framework mods don't always work in Vortex, there might be some issues and it's very easy that way anyway. So what we're going to do, if you want Vortex, I'm going to leave you a link down below. Open it up and we're going to go click download the latest version now. So we're going to go here, manual, and we're going to go download. Of course, you need some of these prerequisite files. I'm pretty sure you have all of these by now. Now that we have this on our desktop, we're going to double click it and we're going to install it. The process is going to be pretty straightforward. Just click install and that's it. So now we're going to run Vortex. Now keep in mind, of course, you will have to log in because, well, it works with NexusMod's account and it's going to be, you know, working here at the same. So we're going to log in. And you're going to go log into the Vortex. So now, right here, we cannot have mods deployed, so we're going to go and fix this. So it says Vortex supports different deployment methods to support a wide variety of systems and games, blah blah blah. So now we're gonna go click next and we're going to apply this fix. So it's gonna give us the mod staging folder. So what we're going to do is get this here, apply. Get this here, apply. So right now, everything which you need to do is once you're on Nexus, for example, and we go to Cyberpunk and we go to Yamaha, we can click Vortex here and it's going to add it into our Vortex itself. So it's going to prompt us to open Vortex. It's going to be open. And as we can see here, it's downloading Yamaha and it's actually like putting it in. And that's all you need to know. That's pretty much everything when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077 modding. As you can see, it was very easy. We just had to drag and drop some items and that's pretty much it. Besides that, you now also know how to install anything on top of that. And most of the mods are going to be just drag and drop. The most important part is that you have all of these frameworks because, well, it works on top of them, and without them these mods are not going to work. So just follow the tutorial as I showed you and follow it in the exact same order I installed these mods in, and that's going to be all. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button for more. It really does help a lot, especially if you have someone who doesn't know how to mod. You can send this video to them. Huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Discord as well, and also in the comments if you have any questions whatsoever. If something new popped up and you don't know how to solve it, just write it down below and I'll try to answer as fast as I can. This is LKM signing out, chooms, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.